Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And Two Guys on Sports brought to us each week by All Motor Performance, Opelt Avenue, Neillsville, Segway ATVs, forged for the future, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement. Tackle your toughest jobs on the farm or in the yard with equipment from Chili Implement. And Jeff Holthouse, State Farm Agent, coverage you can trust. Call 743-4644. And we welcome in a guest here for the show. As we welcome in, maybe introduce yourself. I lost your name here.
Oh, good. My name's Dan Schroeder.
Dan Schroeder. And Dan has an interesting thing. It's called Centershot Archery. And maybe just give us a little background on how all this all got started here.
Absolutely, yeah. So Centershot is a spin-off of the National Archery in the Schools program, or NASP. Both programs are worldwide. NASP primarily focuses on public and private schools in grades 4 through 12. Centershot was designed to be done in parochial schools, at churches, community events, stuff like that, and it's designed for everybody from ages 7 to 97. So everybody in both programs uses the exact same equipment. It's a universal fit bow, same arrow, same target, and they all shoot the same distance. And it is a target-style archery program.
Okay. Now, you are in one of the churches here in town. I know, Calvary Lutheran.
Correct. Yeah, we started at Calvary Lutheran middle of last winter.
Okay.
February, I think.
All right. Now, you talk about archery. Is this kind of a league type thing, or what are we talking about here?
Well, it will lead into a league.
Okay.
Right now, we're basically just in the starting point at Calvary. What I've found doing this for several years with some other programs. We had to do a lot of educating with the folks at Calvary Lutheran about archery in general, believe it or not.
Yeah, sure.
But also about Centershot, about NASP, about the equipment. But ultimately, Centershot's curriculum is designed to be run for 8 weeks, and it is a progressive week-to-week study, not only on archery, but also on the gospel.
Oh, okay.
It is not based on any denomination. And the program is not cookie cutter. So you can fit in the components however they work for your church, your space, however that might work out for you.
Okay.
Now with a place like Calvary, and I'm a member there. So, but you're at the ground. Where would they start? Like with the catechism kids or something like that?
We started originally with 8 adults.
Okay.
We felt it was important to educate them. I did a lot of training with those folks. Got them up to speed on the safety components of Centershot. Taught them about the NASP, about the running the range, about how to teach kids to shoot. And then we opened it up to everybody.
I see.
So right now we have, I think there's on average about 8 to 10 kids and adults there shooting.
Okay.
We shoot every other Wednesday night.
Okay.
We're going to shoot once more in April and then twice in May. And then we're going to stop it for a few months there in the summer. And then we're going to start back up in the fall again. So
now, if somebody were going to do this at their church, where would they do it at? I mean, does it matter?
We're at Calvary. We're doing it in our old sanctuary.
Okay.
Yes.
Basically a cafeteria, a classroom, if there's a large meeting room. The program is designed in a way, there's an arrow curtain that goes up behind the targets. So we've done this thing in hallways at schools.
Oh, okay.
And all that. For NASP, when I met with schools and I was running those programs, we would look at every viable option when we would walk into a school. More times than not, it ends up in a multi-purpose room or a gymnasium. Sure. But like I said, we're doing it right in our old sanctuary there at church.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. What about gear? How does somebody get started with?
If you get onto the Centershot website, like I mentioned before, it's a universal bow. It's made in Sparta. So the bows, the targets, the arrows, all of that can be ordered through Centershot, and then it's shipped right to your door. A cost for the average kit, I think we have about $3,500 invested right now in equipment. Okay. And that's a full kit, and we'll run that amount of equipment probably for the next year or more before we have to expand.
Oh, okay. All right. Is it just churches that you're trying to get into, or?
Absolutely not. No, I would love to sit down with the folks in the Neillsville School District and get them going with the NAS program, because I think it's a great segue into the Centershot, and it's an awesome way just to connect kids that aren't in the sports, that aren't as athletic as some. It gives them a chance to be part of a team, part of a club.
Sure.
There's competitions, both regionally, statewide, nationally. There's a lot of scholarship money on the line. but we're, the whole purpose of getting it going at Calvary was, one, to gauge the interest here at Calvary, but also to expand it into all the churches in Neillsville, with the ultimate goal of holding some type of city tournament, if you will,
sure.
amongst the churches.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was kind of our overall view of what this thing looked like. And I have been in touch with a few others that have some interest. It's just you hit them up during Easter and holiday.
Busy time of the year.
Yeah. So it's been a little hectic with confirmation classes and all that. So, but we're working on it.
Now you talk about you meet at Calvary. You do it Wednesdays. What goes on a typical Wednesday?
So a typical night for us, normally we start out with a prayer, and that's provided in this curriculum. We'll talk a little bit about what the program is going to look like for that night. Each of the kids, everybody that participates, leaves with a small packet of Bible study that we worked on that night. So there's about 15 minutes of Bible study, some before and some at the end of it, and then the rest is shooting bows. We try to do a little one-on-one coaching, help the young ones, try to get the equipment to fit them better, teach them how to aim, and just walk through the scoring and how the ranges run. It's more or less just to get them to shoot, have fun, do something with their parents and with us, and then, hopefully they learn a little bit about Jesus too. So.
And like you said, non-denominational, so
correct.
You're not specifically targeted toward anyone.
So anybody could come to Calvary and shoot.
Absolutely. It's open to the community all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
And like you said, you're trying to get other churches in the area involved in this. They get a hold of you to try and get.
They can reach out to me. They can reach out to Calvary Church in general, and they'll have my contact info there. Otherwise, if they go on the Centershot website, they can get a hold of our director, who's based out actually in Green Bay, and then he can direct get the number and stuff my way too. So, but however it works out easiest for them, they can stop in at Calvary on a Wednesday and check us out.
Sure.
Or like I said, just
what time do you go?
We've been starting at 5:30.
Okay.
We run about an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay.
We found that after about 40 minutes of shooting, the fingers started to get a little numb, and we want to avoid pain, right?
Yeah.
So,
always a good thing.
Is there a limit to how many people can do it?
We're probably more limited on space lengthwise than we are widthwise. So we have 5 targets, so 10 people are shooting at one time, and we can run multiple lines, and do some gospel study in between. So I honestly don't think there is a limit, no.
Okay. All right. So, is there a space that you need as far as
ideally
big?
about half a gymnasium is ideal. Right.
Okay.
You look at traffic flow, where are people going to come in and out? All the doors and windows downrange of the shooting line are locked and signed. I mentioned the aero curtain before, but it really depends on what each individual church or organization wants to do with it, and how big they want it to become. I mean, I'm looking at the studio here. We honestly could shoot right in here.
Really?
It does not take a lot of space.
Really?
How long?
Competition-wise, they shoot 10 meters and 15 meters.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So about 20 yards
20
is what
yards,
you need.
Okay.
Depth-wise. So
Is this something you could do outside, or do you not? prefer it?
It definitely can be done outside. Absolutely. I've talked to the sheriff's department here and the city police. There's some hurdles that we're going to have to go through if we want to do it outside here.
Right.
We are actually talking with some folks for Heritage Days, and I think we're going to try to do a demonstration area during Heritage Days this year. So, and that obviously will be outdoors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let's see. Anything else here that we can discuss? I'm just kind of looking through some of the questions that we had.
You talk about competitions. Is there these people like here in Neillsville advance to other tournaments if they wish or anything like that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them that we've had shooting by us that would probably be on the fringe. It's a different atmosphere, obviously. You're in a strange environment.
Yeah.
You're standing toe to toe with.
And this is all
other
new
kids.
to these folks too. So,
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, and to be honest, about 20 to 25% of the kids, people that shoot it, really aren't interested in the competitive side of it. They just want to have fun.
And you talked about that. There's a reason for that they're not in competitive sports already.
Right.
Right. So they're looking for looking for an outlet that not has to be competitive. So.
But the idea behind the competitive side is, for the kids that do want to compete, for the families that want to go down that path, there was enough questions asked, and it was just let's dangle it out there and see. And the competitive side of the tournament, exposure is unbelievable. I mean, it just it sparks such a deep interest in expanding their archery knowledge that it really does help grow the sport.
Have you seen anybody come in that's really good?
We've got a few of our instructors that have
Yeah.
really taken to it, and we've got, like I said, 1 or 2 kids that I think with a little bit more coaching and we just you got to figure out how to reach each
Right.
person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody learns on their own level and at their own speed. So, but I definitely think there's a lot of potential. There's some serious archers in this community. So.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, bull hunting being a very big sport.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
right,
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
I remember last time I think I shot a bull was in Phi Ed class back in
That goes double for
was
me,
in
Larry.
school.
That goes double for me.
it really shot. And I think they've come a long way since those
Yep.
days.
And a lot of the schools that were doing what you're talking about, I'm of the same age. We used the old recurve bows or fiberglass arrows, and it was just kind of a makeshift deal.
Yeah.
NASP and Centershot is very safety orientated one, but it's also all the equipment is exactly the same. So a freshman, high schooler, or whatever can shoot the same bow that a 4th or 5th grader can shoot, and they stand on the same line. So it's more of an archer competition than it is an equipment competition.
And on top of that, you talked about the age limit. There's senior citizens maybe looking for an outlet like that too.
Absolutely,
Also,
definitely. We've got a few folks, that are up there in age that they're finding out it's more fun than they thought,
Yeah.
and they're better at it than they thought they would be. So,
Yeah, it sounds like a neat thing.
Yeah.
Where you can get people
I love
to
it.
come
I mean,
together.
it's been a passion for me for
How
15 years.
did you get started in it?
I answered in kind of read an article about NASP in Fond du Lac 15, 20 years ago, and just reached out to the DNR and said, hey, I might be interested in doing this. Took the certification and actually ran the program for 12 years for the DNR.
Nice.
And I shot competitively most of my life. So traveled around the country doing that, and obviously I bow hunt. So it's always been a passion for me to get others into the sport just for the love of shooting a bow. There's something about that mystic flight of the arrow, as Ted Nugent would say, that just drives a person. So it's an awesome sport.
Kill them and grill them.
Well,
So-
we hope that more churches get involved in this. It sounds like a really neat thing.
It really does.
I really do hope that we can grow this citywide and outside of this community as well.
Like you said, get a tournament going between the churches. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be
Yeah.
neat.
So if people want to come, they can come up there on Wednesdays.
Yep. So next week, Wednesday, we'll be there at 5:30. I'll be setting up around 5, and we may run a little bit long just, if we get enough people there. So the folks that help us out there do a wonderful job of teaching new ones when they walk in
Then
the
you'll
door.
take the summer off and then kick back in the fall.
Yeah,
then,
just from past experience, with vacations
Yeah.
and kids just seem
summer
to find
is not
other
a
stuff
good
to do.
time.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
So,
not.
but we're going to try to do some community stuff, just make the program a little bit more aware in the community, and hopefully we spark some more interest that way. So,
So head on up there if you're a member of a church in town here and want to check it out, even if you're not in town, because we're getting out all over the place online.
Awesome.
And so, if
yeah,
you're
we'd love to have you. Check it out on the Centershot website. They've got some awesome footage on there of
Very nice
kids
website.
shooting. Yeah.
Very nice
Yeah.
website.
So,
there you go.
Okay.
Well, Dan, we appreciate you coming in here. Give
Thank
us
you,
a little
guys.
insight on this.
all right.
Hopefully this spreads out and we have
Love
something
to see
going
everybody there.
on. All right. Dan, thanks for coming in again. We
Thank you,
appreciate it. And if you want to stick around, you can. We're going to kind of BS about some sports. And
You don't
have-
need my opinion.
okay. Well, we appreciate you for coming
Thank you,
in here
Dan.
again.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, we're going to talk some high school sports. Before we get into it here, Dick, I just want to, again, mention that our two guys on sports program brought to you by All Motor Performance in Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthouse. But Cloverbell Scholar athletes were honored last night at Regis High School in Eau Claire, and each school has a male and female scholar athlete selected. And congratulations to all the participants,
man. Yeah.
or recipients, I should say, including Andrew Hazer and Emerson Orman from Neillsville.
Yep.
Received
And,
the awards last night.
Yeah, Addison Wolf from Loyal. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So,
We're
we'll have
talking about family, right?
yes, we'll have a complete list of all those winners. We got to get in those people. Yeah, we'll have a complete list of all the winners on our website, and we'll also have it on our midday edition of the update coming up. Also, Jack Kolbach of Columbus Catholic
Yes.
signed a letter of intent yesterday to play
I
basketball.
thought that was very interesting. Jack was a starter earlier in the season when Hilgeman was down, but
Yeah.
towards the end there, he did not play. But
No.
he's a tall kid,
Yeah.
and he plays more like a 3, Larry. I think more than he does like a 4
Yeah.
or 5. And he has got an outstanding 3-point shot. So, and he's a big kid. He's about 6'5", and
Yeah.
he hopefully does well down there. So,
Going to Augustana College.
Yep.
Signed that letter of intent yesterday.
absolutely.
All right. Well, a lot of baseball going on. Some teams have getting some games in,
It
but
helps to have an artificial field.
Yes, it does.
No doubt about it. And then like yesterday, or Tuesday, Columbus and Spencer had the foresight to start at 3 o'clock in the
Yeah.
afternoon, and maybe that was forced because Marshall maybe wanted to use the field too. Who
Could
knows?
be, yeah.
But they got that game in, and hey, Columbus playing very good baseball
Yes,
right
they
now. Beat Spencer 10-0. So
yeah. And Loyal continues to win early on here. They beat Gilman 8-0. They
Yeah.
got Gilman again today.
yeah, Greyhounds lost one down at down at Adams Friendship, but they're sitting 3-1, and they'll have a game with Gilman at Loyal today. So
Yeah, and I'm sure the Columbus Catholic Loyal matchups are going to
I
be
believe
big.
that is set for the week of May 12th and 14th.
Okay.
I believe.
All right. So there you go. Those are
Yeah, and right now in D4, Columbus is ranked 4th, Loyal 6th. Loyal took a little bit of a tumble with that one loss.
Yeah,
But,
wow.
The
Okay.
funny thing was, Edgar was this week's choice for number 1, and they got bombed by Stratford
Yeah, they
Tuesday
did.
night. So,
Stratford. There's a team that
Yeah.
could be.
and there again, Columbus. That game with Stratford last Saturday was a 3-2 game,
Yeah,
but they Edgar 15-2. Wow,
Stratford beating them. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
Stratford.
Stratford's going to be look very, very good in D3.
I
So,
think they will. Yes, indeed. By the way, that Neilsville Granton Auburndale game, they're maybe hopefully going to get it in May 4th.
may take that long for the field to dry out after that.
2 times they tried to get it in and couldn't do it.
Yeah, I said
Over
but
in
I'll
Auburndale.
tell you what, you're very smart on Monday night getting
Yeah.
all that stuff out because the weather was bad.
Yeah,
and
and
then,
once you get over there,
yeah, and
you'd have to pack up and come back.
back and with that hail and everything
Yeah.
the way it was, and then I figured Tuesday that field just does, the sun didn't come out all day. How's that field going to dry out? Under a couple inches of water. So
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so,
That was good for
Yeah.
them not to play that game, but hopefully they'll get it in May 4th. We'll see what happens
Yeah.
with Neilsville Granton and Auburndale. Track and field, they are running outside. In fact, Neilsville was at a track and field meet at Gilman on Tuesday, and the boys did very well.
Very well, 187 points. Phillips was second with 133, but some outstanding performances up there. Brandon Geldernick falling with the first place in 4 events. I always felt, Larry, Brandon is one of the fastest kids in the area, but he won the 100, the 200, the long and triple jump.
Yes, yes.
But, and then, but a guy that I'm really watching this season is Marcus Luckneron.
Yeah.
First in the shot put, first in the discus. I think he is set up to have a really big year. So,
And you look at that shot put, he beat out the next competitor by like 9 feet.
yeah. I'm not saying he's in Chris Marcel's
No,
geography yet, but I think
not many are.
Yeah, I think Marcus is well on his way maybe to a trip to lacrosse in both those events. So,
Could very well be. Yeah, he did very well up in Gilman.
Yep. So, but and then Micah's as well, and Sebastian Whiting O'Keefe went 1 and 2 in the 110 hurdles, and then Gabe Sheik and Liam King went 1 and 2 in the 400 meters.
Yeah.
So a lot of points to be scored there. So
Yeah, and the 4x200 and 4x400 meter relay teams for Neilsville both took first.
absolutely. So
And we always talk about Loyal. They don't have a track, but
No.
they still get these guys.
Yeah.
3,200 meters. Landon Genneman was second.
Landon Genneman. They're another one of Jim's
Yes,
kids.
yes.
And they do it. So not quite so strong on the boys' side
No.
this year, but they have a very strong on the girls' side this year.
Yeah, in
so.
fact, they took second up in Gilman, the
to
Loyal
Stanley
girls.
Boyd, 144 points. Addison Wolf mentioned first in the 100, first in the 200, and the high jump. And then Lula Shawala from Stanley Boyd, first in both hurdle events. Let's see. Jocelyn Hager from Stanley Boyd, first in the 400, first in the triple jump. Bryn Heck from Neilsville, or Braylon Anding. No, Bryn Heck.
Yep.
Took second in both those
Yeah,
events
right.
for
Yeah.
her. So Layla Walk winning the pole vault too. So
Yeah, and a couple of relay teams.
yeah, and also the 4x100 and the 4x200 relay team. 4x200 has been a strong team
Yes.
for them the last couple of years.
I was going to say, yeah.
We had to stay in it last year, and hopefully maybe this year again. So
Yeah, and Marshfield was a part of the Wisconsin Valley Conference indoor meet over at UW Stevens Point, and they set a couple of more indoor records, school records.
Just banging them down this year.
Yeah, Natalie Scherenbrock in the 1600
They
and the
have really
4x400 meter relay.
Good distance runners
Yeah,
this year,
yeah.
and they're really pushing Scherenbach, who's been a state qualifier before. So, but they've got girls pushing her, and that really makes breaking school records right there.
Oh, yeah, you bet. All right, so there we go. Track and field well underway. Boys and girls softball, well, it's going.
Yeah.
it's spring, so you kind of hit and miss.
Hopefully we start getting some dry weather here. I think so. But Nielsville actually has a couple golf matches scheduled too, Larry. Today, Colby, Columbus, Loyal, Owen Withy, and Thorpe are here in Nielsville. And then Tuesday, all the same schools are going to be up at Meadowview at Owen. So,
Okay, all right. Well, it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day, I think, for golf today.
I hope so.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I know there was guys out there yesterday for men's
absolutely.
day. So
Lots of them. Yeah,
so
probably
should
the
be good.
biggest turnout of the year.
Things are really greening up.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what. As much rain and snow and stuff we've had, you get that little bit of warm weather and things just pop. So, It seems like you have that first thunderstorm. And away you go.
Nice to see.
Yep.
Maybe not a hailstorm like we had on Monday, but
I've never seen anything like that.
that was a lot of hail
I've never
and a
seen
lot of big
anything-
hail.
Yes.
My hood of my car looks like a golf ball right now.
Yeah,
so.
I wondered. I haven't talked to anybody at Gross's to see what their lot was like.
Yeah. Yeah, that came down.
They might need that big new body shop for a while.
Hey, Marshfield Post 54 American Legion Baseball has their tryouts for the 3 summer teams Sunday, April 26th. It's going to be at Safford Field. And let's see, they got 16U, 17U, and 19U teams.
And they open it up to the whole area.
Yeah, wow.
I believe Stratford runs their own Legion program up there, but pretty much anybody, Nielsville, and there's been a lot of kids from Nielsville went over and played, and Pittsville gets up there, Auburndale. So, Loyal.
So that's Sunday, April 26th at Safford Field is when they'll be doing the tryouts for that. Let's see, what else we got going on? The Packer Tailgate Tour is going on this week. They'll be in Rapids tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening.
I don't know everybody on there, but Randall Cobb is on there and James Jones. I know that.
Desmond Bishop.
Yep.
Brandon Jackson. What was he?
Brandon Jackson was a running back on the last on the championship Super Bowl team.
Okay. That name
Number
just
32.
didn't ring my.
Yeah, he was a running back.
Oh, okay.
Him
All
and
right.
James Starks kind of split time.
Yeah.
So
Won't be the same without the CEO. Always Murphy.
No,
Always went along with that
that's
that
a
tour,
little
but
different. So
he's not involved with the team.
but, it's good to see these alumni coming back.
Yeah.
Like Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
Well, James Jones has stayed pretty close to the team. Desmond Bishop, haven't really heard much about him after he retired, but it's really great that they do this, and it's a big deal here. So, and we're a week out from the draft too.
Yeah,
so
sure. Yeah, Rooted in Red is where they're going to be tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening at 6.
Okay.
On Center Street in Wisconsin Rapids.
Okay. Not
Packer
too far.
Tailgate Tour.
If you want to see them, then that's not too far to go. So.
No, I went to one of those ones when they had it in Marshfield at the Marshfield Country Club.
I remember that, and then I remember they did it at Thorpe High School one year. They stopped at Thorpe High School, I believe, and
when they had it over in Marshfield, it was kind of chilly.
Yeah, which can be the case this time of year.
This time of year, yes, and that's usually when they do it is during April. Former Milwaukee Brewer manager Phil Garner passed away over the weekend.
Yep, he was the manager from '92 to '99. He had a very successful '92 team, but then as baseball got bigger, they couldn't compete financially. They lost people like Paul Molitor and stuff like that, and just didn't have the horses to go on. But they called him scrap iron, and that's the way he played.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the way he managed. And then he later managed at Detroit, and then he also took Houston to a World Series, I believe, in 2005. So.
Yeah, and he also was in a World Series with the Pirates as a player in '79.
Yep. So.
Phil Garner.
Yeah, that's the second Brewer manager that's passed away.
Yeah.
Davey Lopes passed away last week.
That's right. Yes.
So,
yeah.
So
well, as they always say, they don't get any younger.
No.
All those guys that we used to remember see playing.
Yeah, I said,
I remember Davey Lopes. Sure, he played with the Dodgers.
I'll tell you what, that might have been one of the greatest infields ever.
Oh,
With Steve Garvey at first, Davey Lopes at second, Bill Russell at third, and the Penguin Ron Say at third. So And I think one year they all hit 30 home runs, I think, one year. So
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Those were the days when you remember the teams.
Yeah, and because those
they all
guys
stayed-
stayed there
they
forever.
stayed together.
They stayed
Yeah.
forever. So
Brewer
free
teams.
agency kind of took them away from that. So,
Yeah. Let's see what else. So the Bucks are going to be looking for a new head coach,
And that will be interesting.
they're talking. There's some possibilities out there right now.
Yeah.
Darvin Ham has been
Okay,
mentioned.
Darvin Ham has been part of the. He was an assistant before he went out to L.A.
Yeah.
And I think that would make a lot of people happy if Darvin Ham got it. And there's other guys out there, but we'll
There's
see.
another former Bucks assistant, Sean Sweeney.
Okay,
He's now with San Antonio.
Okay, I think you got to look at some of these good places and probably pluck a good assistant. I just hate to see them go after a retread.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't care for that. And nothing against Doc Rivers. I thought when they let Adrian Griffin go that time, I thought Doc Rivers was the answer. Well, he wasn't.
No.
But also there's not been a lot of bad injury This team has just been so injury prone for the last couple of years that it's just. But it's time for retooling. I don't know what the Giannis situation is going to bring. Is that going to if he's out of there? Is that going to bring a good quality coach in? Who knows? So
Yeah. I mean, they got some good young talent, but
They do.
it's just a lot of inexperience.
a lot of inexperience, and like I said, injuries. I don't think Bobby Portis will be back.
Yeah.
And he's been there forever,
Yeah.
and he might him and Giannis might be the two last guys from that championship team that I think are there. So
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Speaking of leaving, UW-Madison athletic director Chris McIntosh has resigned to take a job with the Big Ten Conference, and Marcus Sedbury, who's been instrumental in the operations of the athletic department, is the interim AD. But Mr. McIntosh, he will be remembered mostly, I'm afraid, Larry, for the Luke Fickell hiring.
Yeah,
And not getting really, I think they've never had a grasp on the NIL.
no,
At all. But he should also be remembered, he hired Mike Hastings as the men's hockey coach who went to the Final Four.
Well, there's a good one.
And then he also hired Robin Pinkton as the women's basketball coach. And that program looks like it's coming back. So the volleyball and the women's hockey and the basketball all seem to be strong.
Yeah,
And some of the other sports like track and cross country. But unfortunately, he is going to be remembered most for the Luke Fickell hiring, especially, because and now if Luke Fickell doesn't do well this year, he will be out.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There's no doubt that a new AD is not going to come in and want to bring his own guys.
Right.
So,
Sure. Yeah, interesting. The job that McIntosh now takes. It's Deputy Commissioner for Strategy.
Okay.
Not sure what that entails, but
I think that I'm getting out of Madison before they do. They send me out. So.
instead of fired behind your name,
Right. Yeah, right.
I'll just take another job somewhere else. Again, we'd like to thank Dan for coming in here.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank him for coming in and talking about Centershot.
And they have one more night next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
At Calvary, and they shoot in the old sanctuary.
Yep, talking about archery, and if you're interested in going up there and seeing what it's all about,
Yeah.
check it out.
I had never heard about this. So
5:30 over at Calvary Lutheran Church
Absolutely.
in Neilsville. Centershot. Again, Centershot is where you can go to
and that's
check it out.
And that's the website too, centershot.com.
Yes. Check it out and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get more churches involved.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. I think that's kind of a great goal is to have a church
that would be kind of
competition.
cool.
It would be.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe do that during Heritage Days or
There
something.
you go.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
Just throwing something out there for the people. Let's see. What else? Anything else going on here?
The Brewers
they're
injuries and I don't know. Their bullpen was supposed to be their strength, but it has really imploded this year, Larry.
Yes, it has so far.
They cannot get guys out.
No, and the starters are doing really well.
Starters are doing great.
They hand it to the bullpen, and
wow,
they lose it.
I said there hasn't been anybody coming out of that bullpen that has been reliable.
No,
Even I thought Aaron Ashby would be reliable. He's given
McGill has not done well.
McGill can't get anybody out.
No.
Even Uribe, who I thought was untouchable last year, he gave up a run Tuesday night. And so it's just crazy. And they pull these starter. I don't know if these guys are overworked from last year and their arms are tired, but they're just not locating the ball at all. So McGill just looks awful. I mean, he looks like and you can tell out there he has absolutely no confidence in what he's doing right now. So.
Well, we'll see what happens as they move on here
Absolutely.
as the season for the
Something
Brewers
will have to
continues.
change because,
Yep.
I mean, their offense, I mean, right now, I mean, you're getting absolutely no production from third base and shortstop right now. So,
All right, well, that's Two Guys on Sports for this week. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.